Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of the Comic Hall. I am your host, Dylan Lang, and I'd like to welcome you to this week's episode, I should say, of the Comic Hall. Comic Hall is a show where I show you all the comics that I bought and maybe convince you to go to your local comic store and buy them as well, or at least to get you out to go to your local comic store and just check out your comic store. So there's a lot of good stuff going on. Valentine's Day is coming up on Tuesday, so if you have that special loved one, I mean, women right now are one of the leading demographics that are reading comics now more than a lot of other people. They're slowly overtaking male people. There's lots of good stuff out there for women and for men. Women get your Valentine also. A lot of these places have toys and Funko Pops and stuff like that, as well as comic books. And you never know, you might find something that might surprise you. Speaking of surprising, real quick, I don't have it with me right now. I talked about it on my other show, Dylan Knows, a couple weeks ago. Oh no, it was last week. It was last weekend. My comic show, Dylan Knows, is a show I do every Sunday, 12:30. So check that out. I'm on episode 178. Starts on this upcoming Sunday, which is the top 10 sexiest actors and actresses with my co-host Gigi Fletcher. But last week, I talked about a Image comic called Sunstone. Actually, it wasn't really Image. It was done by Stefan Sejic. He owns the rights to it, and Image was the one that collected it. It's a nice adult romantic comedy with lots of sex and nudity, but also really good story, and it might actually be really, really good for your Valentine if you've never seen it before. So it's Sunstone. It does have, as I said, lots of sex and nudity. It's about BDSM, but in the end, it has a good relationship and good characters behind it as well. So, and I'm not talking about BDSM, so my one viewer just like, oh, fuck this place, bam. Oops, I just said the F word. I didn't mean to say that. Anyway, we're not going to talk about that anymore, but I mean, you can do that. Strange in Paradise is another good one for Valentine's Day to check out. Go to your local comic store, just see what kind of stuff they got, what people might like. Also, you might find some toys and Funko Pops and shirts and glasses and gaming stuff and whatever, posters. You might find anything under the sun, gaming items. You might find some really cool stuff. So go to the Comic Shop Locator Service, CSLS, in your search engine. And when it pops up, type in your zip code. It'll give you all the comic book stores within a 15-mile radius. You go and you choose which one you want to go to. So without further ado, let's talk about my comic haul real quick. So here's my comic haul for this week. Always DC-centric because I'm a DC guy and I'm starting to cut back on a lot of Marvel because I'm not liking the direction Marvel's going to be going in. So you'll probably be seeing less and less Marvel. Independence again. Okay, I've always been kind of a DC person anyway, so, but there's lots of time and space, and I need to cut down anyway, so I definitely haven't been cutting down as much as I want to, but I have been cutting down. So without further ado, we're going to continue with DC to begin with. We've seen the 4 Rebirth solo comics. Now we get Justice League America Rebirth #1 comes out this week. This leads into the new Justice League America comic coming out very soon. Not this week, maybe next week, or not next week, in 2 weeks probably. It's a brand new Justice League team. It's written by Steve Orlando with art by Ivan Reyes. It's got Joe Prado and Ackler Albert are the inkers. It's Batman leads a team of not really misfits, but a team of Justice League that you're not familiar with. You've got Vixen, Killer Frost, Lobo, the Atom, Black Canary, the Ray, and Batman is the leader. So you got yourself a good one. So, and Steve Orlando is a great writer. Ivan Reyes is a fantastic artist. So you get to see some cool stuff about that. So really good stuff. Get to see all the team members getting together. So it should be an interesting team to see what comes up and see what they actually are going to be investigating. And there's your team shot right there. So check it out. Justice League America Rebirth #1, and that'll lead into Justice League Rebirth, or no, Justice League of America #1, which would be, I think, in 2 weeks. One of my favorite DC Rebirth books is Titans. The newest issue of Titans, 8, made Manhattan, where they have finally moved to Manhattan, and we get the first appearance of Bumblebee is in this one. It's written by Dan Abnett with art by Brett Booth and Norm Ratbud inks. So I like Brett Booth's artwork, so pretty interesting. So, oops, let's see if there's anything else besides. I know this is mostly here. Here's the Titans. So Titans are in there, coming up like that, and so Titans number 8. So actually, kind of funny cover. This is the variant cover. It's kind of funny. I like it. All right. Next up, we have Supergirl number 6. If you like the Supergirl TV show, you're probably going to really like this. Steve Orlando, who's writing Justice League of America, is writing this also, with art by Brian Ching. So it's got a lot of qualities that the Supergirl TV show has. They brought to the comics. So if you like the Supergirl TV show, you will probably like the Supergirl comic, that Rebirth comic that DC's doing right now. So I'd highly recommend that as well. So Supergirl number 6 is out this week. Next up is the variant cover to Hal Jordan, the Green Lantern Corps number 14. Let's see if you can see what it says. It's always great when you see word balloons on a cover. You haven't seen that in a while, but Kevin Nolan, who's did the cover, variant cover, used to do a lot of old school Green Lantern in the old days. It's written by Robert Venditti with art by Rafa Sandoval and inks by Jordi Tarragona. So it's everybody in the Green Lantern Corps. You have Hal Jordan, you got Guy Gardner, you got John Stewart. They also have been focusing. You got Kyle Raniere. You're also focusing on the other Lanterns. Also have been making appearances, so they're still around. The Yellow Lanterns played a big part in it. The Red Lanterns played a part in Green Lanterns, and Blue Lanterns looks like they're going to play a big part in this one. So Hal Jordan, the Green Lantern Corps number 14. Next up is Wonder Woman number 16, beginning a new storyline, Godwatch. Again, I think they're doing year 1 and present day. This is the year 1. Nicola Scott has left to go on to do her create her own book with Greg Rucka, so she's working on that. Greg Rucka, meanwhile, is still going to be doing the writer. We get Bill Quist-Evely, Martin Morales, Andrew Hennessy, and Raul Fernandez on the artwork on this. So it's Wonder Woman. It's Greg Rucka doing Wonder Woman, who's always good to see because he's always done a really good Wonder Woman series. So, and this series has been extraordinarily good. So, keeping it up. So, Wonder Woman newest issue number 16 is out this week. Next up is Deathstroke number 12, beginning of a new story arc here. Good Bill Sienkiewicz cover. It's written by Chris Priest. Larry Hammond does the breakdowns. Joe Bennett is the penciler. Martin Morales is inks. Joe Bennett's one of those pencilers that, he's very consistent and sweet. And all kinds of crazy stuff. So Christopher Priest has been doing a really good job with Deathstroke. So it's well worth keeping up on it. So this issue is out this week. Superwoman number 7 is another really good one. Phil Jimenez writes and art. He also gets Matt Santorelli and Jack Herbert to help him out as well. So Phil Jimenez doing a Superwoman book is really good, and he's got his own certain style. He gets a lot of information into the comic page. So it's well worth it. So I think this is the end of the story arc, the original story arc. You got one more to go. So Woman number 7 is good. I keep coming back to this. I keep saying I'm going to get rid of it, but then I just got to keep getting it. This is Red Hood and the Outlaws, number 7. And he solved a problem like Bizarro is the name of the episode issue. It's a one-shot. Scott Lobdell is the writer. Mirko Kolak is the penciler. Fairly good. And I like the idea of the Dark Mirror Trinity, whereas you have Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. Here you have Red Hood, Bizarro, Superman, and Artemis. So it's fun to see the dynamic of this group together. So Very interesting. Very of mice and men sort of aspect to it today as well. Another one I'm probably going to be getting rid of soon. It's hard to, because I love the Flash. So here's Flash number 16, but it's bi-weekly and it costs a lot of money. So it's written by Joshua Williamson with art by Carmine DG and Domenico. I'll see you after the Rogue story, because you never can go wrong with a Rogue story. So very interesting. So we'll keep it up for a little while longer. So Flash number 16 is out this week. These are all books that are out this week. These are just books that I bought. There are other books that came out that I didn't buy. This is one I did buy, Batgirl Birds of Prey number 7. I wasn't going to buy this because I'm thinking I'm going to be dropping this one as well, but it's a one-shot. I figured, why not? One more issue to go, and then we'll see where things go from there. Where's the creative team on this one? Julie Benson and Shauna Benson writers. Claire Rowe is an artist. So you've got Batgirl, Black Canary, and Huntress all working together again. I think it's a Valentine's Day. To be honest, I think it's a Valentine's Day centric. Yep, happy Valentine's Day when they're drunk out of their minds. So there we go. So Batgirl Birds of Prey number 7. But as I said, don't take my word. I'm just going to cut back on some of these because I need to, because they're expensive. But it doesn't mean they're bad or good. It's just ones that I just haven't gotten around to reading yet. And you go ahead and you check it out, and you might like it. This is an oversized issue of Detective Comics, because issue number 950, the League of Shadows prologue. It's written by James Tynion IV. Let's see, Marco Takara, artist. And then, so it sets up the new storyline. It's a double-sized issue. That's why it costs more money. It's $3.99 instead of the regular $2.99 that it is. But it is, as I said, a double issue. It's number 950. Takes a look at the original the Batgirl who took over for I forget what the character's name is. So there's that story. And then there's another story that's done by Alvaro Martinez and Raul Fernandez, which is going to bring Azrael into the Detective Comics world, because I've seen him on the covers for some of the new stuff as well. So that's interesting to see that. And then you get another storyline here. The big picture, James Tynion IV, Eddie Barrows, who's the regular artist on Detective, and Eber Ferreira. So you get 3 stories for one, but it is a double-sized story, and pretty good. Detective Comics is pretty good. Still not sure about this one, because I don't know about it. All-Star Batman number 7. Number 6 looked like it was like a one-shot with Mr. Freeze, but then it sort of ended abruptly with like a cliffhanger ending, and now we are doing a Poison Ivy one with no connection to it. Tula Lotay, it's Scott Snyder scripts. Tula Lotay is the artist, and it's nice looking art, and it's Poison Ivy. But how's this connecting to the Mr. Freeze story? I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you. So I'll have to read it, I guess, because I have gotten caught up. It's just it seemed that the Mr. Freeze one ended abruptly, and then we go into this aspect as well. And then you also have I thought this one had a different ending too. It blew up the building, and now we're back to them again. I don't know. Scott Snyder script, Francesco Francavilla artist. So I don't know. Oh, he's practicing. Okay, I get it. So that's also Batman number 7. That's it for the Rebirth books. Scooby Apocalypse number 10, continuing the Hanna-Barbera updates. There's some really good ones. The Flintstones is socially aware comic. There's going to be a Snagglepuss one, which is going to be where he plays a gay Southern playwright. And this one is Scooby Apocalypse, where instead of people dressed up as ghosts, we actually have Scooby-Doo and crew taking on an apocalyptic period. It's written by Keith Giffen and J.M. DeMatteis, which are a great team in and of itself. Chris Batista Rob Hunter, Mark Deering, and Howard Porter are all writers. So it's quite a different take on the Scooby-Doo storyline. But it's fascinating because these are very interesting in and of themselves. So Scooby Apocalypse, number 10. All right. Dead Man is one of my favorite characters. He had a mini-series. This is the last issue of it, Dead Man, Dark Mansion of Forbidden Love, book 3. It's written by Sarah Vaughn with art by Lan Medina with Phil Hester on breakdowns. So Dead Man is one of my favorite characters. It is a prestige format, limited series. Artwork looks nice, and it's Dead Man. So gotta love Dead Man, like I do. So, and that's it for DC. Marvel. This week we've got Renew Your Vows number 4, which is an alternate Spider-Man where Peter Parker and Mary Jane both have spider powers, and they have a daughter who also has spider powers. It's written by Jerry Conway with art by Ryan Stegman. So it's a fun lark. I'm not exactly sure how it fits into continuity. If it fits into continuity, if it's just a fun little excursion on the far side, if it has something to do with the Secret War. It came out a couple of years ago. So good stuff. Black Widow number 11, Mark Waid, Chris Samney doing a great job on this character. Can't go wrong with that. They did a great job with Batman, or rather Daredevil, so now they're taking on Black Widow. Black Widow is a great character, and it's a fantastic series. And a lot of people are calling this the Black Widow movie that we deserve is in this comic right here. So we'll see. But Mark Waid and Chris Samney are doing a fantastic job on that. Totally Awesome Hulk number 16, continuing Amadeus Cho as the Hulk. It's written by Greg Pak with art by Mahmoud Asrar. And it's not your Bruce Banner Hulk, it's Amadeus Cho Hulk, who's one of the smartest people in the Marvel Universe, is now the Hulk. He's got control of the Hulks. So he can do what he needs to do. So good stuff. And I keep buying this one because the premise itself is just so bizarre. It's Doctor Strange, the Punisher, magic bullets. So you get a magician with a streetwise killer teaming up. John Barber, Jason Murrah are the writers. Andrea Borcato and Dominique Adomo Stanton are the artists. So you get Doctor Strange, you get the Punisher. It's a little expensive, but you get more story. It's almost a double-sized book. And you get to see the bizarre combination of Doctor Strange and the Punisher. So can't go wrong with that. That's it for Marvel. Independence. The reason why I call this episode Old School is this is a book I haven't read in a really, really long time, and I wasn't going to pick it up until I saw who the writer was. And so I said, maybe I'll check it out, and the artwork looks pretty nice. It's a number 1. I don't know if I'll stick with it, but it's Fathom number 1. There's been a million Fathoms, and this looks like a new beginning for Fathom, so I may as well join it. Blake Northcutt is the writer. Marco Renna and Mark Roslin are the artists. So, you know, can't go wrong with Hot Chick, who can breathe underwater and has water powers, and kind of a modern update on things. And it's Fathom. You know, it's cheesy. It has been cheesy before, and I'll have to take a look at it. But you know, Blake Northcutt's writing it, and it's a hot chick, so can't go wrong with that. So Fathom number 1 came out this week, so we can go back to old school on that. Check that out because Fathom's been around for a really long time. Also going old school is Red Sonja number 2, J. Scott Campbell cover. Amy Chu writer, Carlos Gomez is the artwork. I like the premise of Red Sonja trapped in modern day America and how she responds to it. And that's why I'm going to keep buying this. And again, speaking of hot chicks, get yourself a nice hot chick here with Red Sonja. And good stuff. Moonshine number 5, about werewolves during the time of Prohibition. Not for kids. Brian Azzarello, writer. Edward Risso, art, nudity, which I'm just skipping over right now, and sex. But it's werewolves. Just some of the nudity during Prohibition time. So werewolves during Prohibition time, you can't go wrong with that. So it's Brian Azzarello and Edward Risso also. And finally, the last one today is Green Valley number 5, Max Landis, Giuseppe Camuncoli, and Cliff Rathburn. It's kind of a fantasy type of book. I guess there's little bits of humor in it, but also it is a typical fantasy book, and it's written by Max Landis. So gotta like that. So all kinds of crazy stuff in a fantasy world with dinosaurs in it. So Green Valley number 5 of 9. So that's it for this week. Comic Haul, some good stuff. Took a quick peek of stuff coming out next week. Batwoman Rebirth number 1 is coming out next week. That should be really cool. Warren Ellis's rebooting of the Wildstorm universe is also coming out next week, so hopefully we'll be taking a look at those. The final issue of Clone Conspiracy, the SpiderMan story is going on. It will be on there, and new issue of Monsters Unleashed as well. There's probably some other stuff I missed, but those are going to be kind of some of the highlights, and there'll probably be more pop up then. So until then, come watch my show Sunday. 12:30, top 10 sexiest actors and actresses with my co-host Gigi Fletcher on Dylan Knows, episode 178. And join me back here sometime next week for a brand new episode of the Comic Call. Again, happy Valentine's Day. Go to your local comic book store. My comic book store's got a great sale going on starting tomorrow, 50% off of back issues, trade paperbacks, also 50% off of toys, Funko Pops, and all kinds of stuff. Some good stuff that I want to pick up for Valentine's Day for my wife and kids. I'm going to go get them probably tomorrow. And, you can too. And also just go explore your local comic book store. They might not have a sale, but a lot of them might, and they might be different sales. They might have different deals or whatever. Comic book stores are a lot different than you might remember them from the old days. So just check them out. Enjoy yourself. You might find something interesting that you like. So happy Valentine's Day, and check you later. Bye.